Veterinary medicine is a messy business, both physically and emotionally. Vetsplaining is one veterinarian's attempt to explain and understand her own profession a little better. Join Dr. Lisa McFaddin as she delves deep into the medical and business aspects of veterinary medicine.
Welcome back to A Day in the Life. In part 3, we are going to talk about the customer service representatives, or CSRs. These women are the heart and soul of Independent Hill. Now, customer service representatives can be both men and women, and I'm not trying to be sexist when I say these women. It's just at Independent Hill, our customer service representatives are all women. And this group of amazing, talented, kind, caring, strong, and oh my gosh, patient women are really the heart and soul of the clinic. They are the first face you see when you walk in. They are the first voice you hear when you call. They, in a sense, are Independent Hill. Now, the doctors have a very important role in seeing the pet and diagnosing and treating and maintaining health, and the assistants have an important role in assisting the doctors and helping with the health of the patient and providing assistance with tech appointments and performing treatments on in-hospital patients. And the licensed technicians have a crucial role in anesthesia monitoring, in patient safety and treatment, in patient diagnostics, in ensuring that all parties that treat and support the patients are kind of on the same page. And our kennel assistants are there day in, day out, cleaning kennels, walking dogs, feeding cats, feeding dogs, checking on the safety of our boarding patients. But when you get right down to it, you have to have a solid front staff. You have to have a front staff that represents what you want your clinic to be. And you want these women to be open and honest and patient and caring and kind and willing to take questions, willing to listen to concerns, willing to hear complaints. Because think about it. I mean, if you have a bad visit at a vet hospital, a lot of times I don't hear about it, or if it's with an associate, we don't hear about it. But when they go up front, that's when you hear, hey, I was not expecting this charge. Hey, the doctor didn't explain this well to me. And so unfortunately, these women sometimes tend to take the brunt of frustrations from clients. And the purpose of this podcast is just to kind of shed light on how much work these women really do. And if I'm truly honest with my goal for this podcast, it's really to say, if you're having a rough time or you're having a bad day or you're frustrated with your dog or you're frustrated with the hospital, don't take it out on the receptionist. The receptionists do a fantastic job, and they are hardworking and caring, and they really don't deserve to have to deal with the brunt of our frustration. And I know that 99% of their job is excellent clients, excellent patients, excellent relationships. But unfortunately, in every business, you have ups and downs. And it seems like when there's downs, it's the receptionists that get yelled at or talked to in a stern fashion, or unfortunately cussed at, or even demoralized. And it's not fair. People should treat other people with decency and respect, and especially the front staff. They're not there to be your lightning rod of hate. They are there to assist and facilitate in the treatment of your pet. And their job is just as crucial as everybody else in the hospital. If I did not have my CSRs, I would not have a practice. And I rely on them heavily for not just scheduling and callbacks to ensure that the patient is still coming in the next day, but I rely on them for client communication and client education. If you come in and you say, hey, I've been giving HeartGuard, but I might want to switch to Interceptor Plus, which are both two different heartworm preventions, I expect my receptionists, my CSRs, to know the difference between those two products. I expect them to be able to intelligently explain to you the difference. I don't want them to tell you which one you should use, but I want them to be able to tell you, HeartGuard does this, Interceptor does this, and then recommend that you speak with either an assistant or the doctor to determine which one's going to be best for your pet. But the receptionists know a lot about veterinary medicine in addition to human and animal behavior. I mean, receptionists, you learn a lot sitting at the front desk, and you learn a lot based on client interaction on the phone and in person. And they have fairly tough jobs. I mean, if it's really busy and, we have 2 receptionists up front, we have 4 lines ringing, and I have to answer the phone, I do a terrible job. I also don't answer it as Dr. McFaddin because then I get 1,000 questions. So I kind of hide who I am, but shh, that's between us. Listening to the client on the phone, trying to discern exactly what's going on with their pet, because they are the first line of triage, right? They are the ones that when you call, they help determine, is this something that is emergent, so needs to be seen now? Is this a wellness appointment, a senior wellness appointment? Is this an issue that's been going on for a long period of time? Is this an emergency? And they can help guide you when to schedule, when we can fit you in, and if you need to come in on an emergency basis. So these women do a fantastic job, and they've also been extremely crucial in the implementation of paper light at Independent Hill. When I first started, we were 100% paper practice, and now we really only use papers for our boarding animals that then get scanned in and for signatures. And when patients are seen for appointments, we print off what's called a check-in form. And honestly, I don't use it. I joke that it's just kind of a crutch for the assistants to jot stuff down when we have computers in the exam rooms and they can type things up. I think that is enough of listening to me talk about CSRs. Let's hear it from the women who actually work at Independent Hill. We're going to interview 3 of our CSRs. We're going to talk to Erin, who is our lead. We're going to talk to Claudia, and then we're going to talk to Dee. And just as I mentioned in the LVT segment, which I don't know if I mentioned again in the vet assistant or the kennel assistant segment, these are kind of like ambush interviews because I just randomly bring my computer and microphone to work because, to be honest, I haven't really figured out how to just record it on my phone, which would be 100% easier, but that's okay. So I bring my computer and my microphone to work, and I set it up, and then I just say, hey, Erin, do you have a second? And then she very dutifully comes into the room where I'm in, and then I close the door and I say, hey, let's talk about being a CSR. And then I kind of just ambush them. And so, it might have been a good idea to give everybody time to think about their answers, but realistically, I wanted it to be real. I wanted it to be kind of their gut responses and their gut reactions. And I learned a lot by talking to everybody. And I also learned that I need to talk into the microphone more. So I apologize if any of the volume is weird. And sometimes if we do the interviews in Jessica, our practice manager's office, you'll hear kind of this humming in the background because that's where our server is, and it is really loud. And we will, speaking of Jessica, do a practice manager session too, because, oh, good Lord, I could not do my job without the practice managers. So let's start with Erin, and we'll go from there.
Hi, I'm Erin.
How long have you worked here?
24 years.
And what is your position at Independent Hill?
I am lead CSR.
So walk us through a traditional day as a CSR at Independent Hill Veterinary Clinic.
Oh boy. Come in the morning and greet all of the clients that are either coming in to drop off for boarding and grooming. The appointments, we start generally at 8 a.m., so bright and early. Doctors come in and always have a smile on their face when they come in.
So what else do you do? Do you have to so you answer the phone?
I do answer the phone.
Set up appointments?
I do that. I make phone calls, checking up on clients that have been seen earlier in the week that maybe were sick or had surgery.
You also have to triage, right? If they call with a problem.
We do that, yes.
So somebody calls with a problem. What questions do you ask them to find out if it's like they got to be seen right then or can wait?
I guess it depends on what's going on. So make sure they're not vomiting, they are eating and drinking, going to the bathroom normally.
So what are other tasks that you have as the lead CSR?
I oversee my team, make sure that they're doing their job, but also want to make sure that they're happy in what they're doing, and that if they have any complaints that they feel comfortable coming to me regarding both veterinary medicine and personal. It's been my family for 24 years and pretty much worked with the same people for a good part of that, so I think we're all a pretty close, tight-knit group. Yeah.
Been here a long time.
Cry.
Don't cry. Well, you can't. Actually, that's great radio. Because you don't look sloppy when you cry on the radio, right?
Yeah, but I feel sloppy.
That's right. So, aside from doing callbacks and scheduling appointments, I know Dr. McFaddin, have you make phone calls for me to explain certain things, sometimes like blood work or infectious diseases like parasites. Do you like that part of your job? It's not a trick question because your boss is asking you. It's just...
Sometimes I feel like I don't have
all the information that clients are going to ask when I return those phone calls. Sometimes they have questions, but I do understand that it's helpful to you to try to take some of your workload off. And I think I'm comfortable for the most part, and the clients are comfortable with me because they've known me for a long time, Dee as well, answering those questions for them.
Cool. Anything else you want to say to our 30 wide audience? 30 people that listen.
Come on in and check us out. Dr. McFaddin is great. We have, like I said, a pretty tight-knit family. We've got some new members joining our team, so hopefully you get to come in and meet them.
Cool. That was awesome. Good job. Like I said, you can do amazing things with editing.
That's good, because...
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Speaking of editing, yes, I could have edited that out, but I really think that unadulterated pure laughter is just very uplifting and amazing, and anytime you record it, you should always listen to it because it just brings a smile to your face. So now we are going to talk to Claudia, another one of our customer service representatives who also is in charge of doing inventory ordering and upkeep along with Jessica, our practice manager.
My name is Claudia. I have been here at Independent Hill 5 years, and I am a client service representative.
Tell us a typical day doing your job.
A typical day doing my job consists of filling medications, checking people in, checking people out, mainly making sure that the clients are satisfied and getting the service and products that they need.
Do you like your position at Independent Hill?
I love my position at Independent Hill.
What do you like best?
Definitely communicating with the clients and getting to know them and their pets. After, so many years, they kind of become a family here, and you get to know a lot about them, and they learn a lot about yourself, which I think makes, the clinic very unique, having that relationship with the clients.
Cool. And what do you like least?
Definitely having to do the euthanasias. There's no proper way that you feel like you can do it as long as you've been here and as many times as you have done it. I don't think there is a proper way that I feel you can console a client about making that decision.
And you also do the ordering as well.
I do.
Is that your favorite part?
And not really, but I am getting more used to doing it. I'm getting the hang of it, so it's becoming easier. I think I'm getting it done a lot faster now.
Definitely.
So practice makes perfect.
Cool. And I think that's about it.
Okay.
Thanks. I think both Erin and Claudia presented us with a really good idea of what kind of a day in the life of being a client service representative is like. And last but certainly not least, we're going to hear from Dee. She is another one of our CSRs, and she is going to tell us about her likes and dislikes for the position.
My name is Dee. My position, I'm a client service representative, and I've been here for 20 years. And my favorite part of working here is interacting with the clients and their pets. Least favorite part of my job is having to say goodbye to the pets and helping the families get through that.
And there you have it. There are 3 of our CSRs discussing their positions and what they like and dislike about the position. I probably said this earlier, but I definitely could not be a good customer service representative. These women do an amazing job, and they're very patient, and they're very kind, and they're very understanding, and they're very knowledgeable, and they're very efficient. And I hope this answers any questions anyone may have about what it means to be a customer service representative, especially in the veterinary field. And if you have any further questions, don't hesitate to either email me or give us a call, and we'd be happy to answer them for you. I think that about wraps it up. As always, thank you for listening to this installment of Vetsplaining. I hope you enjoyed your time with me and ideally learned at least one new thing for the day. If you have any questions or suggestions for future topics, feel free to leave a comment below or email info@independenthillvet.com and put podcast topic or podcast comment in the subject line. Until next time.